On October 7, 2023, as Israel was under attack, a 41-year-old reservist and father of five left his home in the south and drove towards the war. He wasn't called, he wasn't ordered. He just went. And at the entrance to Sderot, he met with an undercover border police team. They were looking for terrorists, and he joined them. And together they pushed into Be'eri, the kibbutz that was hit the hardest, then into the area around the Nova Music Festival. And there he began tracking. He followed blood trails. He read the ground. He found signs of hostages and helped locate a terrorist hiding in the bushes. And that morning, a new idea took shape. A unit that could move silently ahead of the force, a unit that would track, read, and sense what drones were missing. A unit built not on gear, but on instinct. And they call themselves the Wolves. So the Wolves are 30 men. Most are reservists. They operate as a forward scouting unit embedded with the IDF combat teams, and their job is to detect threats before the rest of the force moves in. And their commander, a 63-year-old veteran of multiple wars. He trains his men not on bases, but in orchards and abandoned homes near his kibbutz. They are not traditional trackers. Trackers work the border. The Wolves go into combat zones. Gaza, Lebanon, now Syria, ahead of infantry tanks and drones. So let me explain how these guys work. They're feeling the wind. They're studying the ground. They pause before others move. They look for the small signs that others miss. Some type of fresh footprint, a shifted pile of rubble, a mark on a wall that wasn't there an hour earlier. And they began operating in Khan Yunis, Gaza in March 2024. And since then, they've been active across the entire Gaza Strip. The Wolves' mission is to prevent IDF casualties, and their specialty is detecting explosive devices and ambushes that have gone unnoticed. And they embedded directly with battalion commanders. They operate ahead of the line, and they clear buildings others already may have called safe. And they do it without any fanfare. It's an incredible organization of veterans. And according to their commander, the Wolves have identified and neutralized around 30 improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, often just seconds before soldiers would have walked into them. They've also identified sniper zones. They've detected kill boxes. They've changed how infantrymen move. And they've taught basic survival skills as well. Don't open the drawers. Don't trust the closet. Stay off the walls. Don't assume a room is clear because a drone has flown through it. And in this war, Hamas hides traps everywhere in places soldiers would normally considered safe. The Wolves noticed and adapted. So let me give you a couple of case examples about the Wolves. Let me take a minute and tell you guys about something incredible that I'm building and why I need your help. It's called Gideon. It's the first real-time AI-powered threat detection system for law enforcement and schools. It scans the open web, social media, Discord, Reddit, gaming chats, and flags violent signals before they explode. We're talking about radicalization, grievance buildup, martyrdom language, the exact warning signs we've seen before Uvalde, Buffalo, and the D.C. embassy murders. And right now, there's no system catching it, so I'm building it. And I'm asking you, my audience, the people who care, to help me fund it. Every dollar goes directly to engineering, law enforcement deployment, and getting this into schools and across law enforcement agencies across the country. And so if you've ever asked, why didn't they stop this? Or how come they didn't stop this? This is the answer. And if you're one of those serious guys out there watching this and you're a fan of the show, the ones with the capital, access, reach, the network, and you want to partner with me to seed this mission, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me. Click the link below and reach out directly if you're one of the big dogs. I'm building the system that stops the next attack before it starts, and it's called Gideon. Appreciate you guys. In Jabalia, during a daytime chase, the 890th Battalion was pursuing terrorists through some very narrow alleys. And the commander wanted to move to the rooftops, so the embedded wolf told him and said, hey, stay on foot. And they followed a blood trail across the buildings and took out the squad on a rooftop. In Gaza, a paratrooper's reconnaissance officer was hit by sniper fire and no one knew where the shot came from. The wolf launched a micro drone into a nearby building and he detected subtle signs of activity. Sniper eliminated. In another Shujaiya mission, a company was moving towards suspected enemy movement. They didn't know where the threat was. The wolf suggested adjusting the route. They did and ran into the enemy head on. And if they'd continued on the original path, they would have been flanked and ambushed. And in northern Gaza, the 101st Battalion, the Tzanchanim, Israel's Airborne, their paratroopers, had just cleared a building. They were about to move on. A wolf saw a fresh footprint at the door. He stopped them. They re-entered the building. Inside were 3 Islamic Jihad terrorists who had slipped in after the drone sweep. They were waiting in ambush, and the building was shelled and the threat neutralized. Now I want to talk about the Rashid Corridor. In December of 2023, during operations near Gaza's coastal Rashid Corridor, an IED exploded near reservists from the 179th Brigade. One officer was tragically killed. The rest of the unit was preparing to move forward. The wolf who was with them stopped the advance, dead in its tracks. He ended up following after finding IED wiring, and it led him to a hidden Hamas post, armed, fortified, and facing directly toward the IDF's approach route. The ambush had been prepared to kill or kidnap as many soldiers as possible, and it was dismantled before it could ever be activated. Again, cannot overstate the incredible work of this unit. So now I want to talk about where it stands now, where the Wolves are today. Today, the Wolves continue operating. They're very active still, and they hope to embed with more divisions, including the 36th, which is very active in Rafah right now. And according to their commander, if there had been 130 Wolves instead of 30, many deadly incidents in this war could have been prevented. This unit doesn't seek any recognition. These guys are working quietly, and its goal is to become obsolete. Not because it isn't needed, but because its knowledge has been passed down across the entire IDF. And so until then, they'll continue to move forward, conducting operations quietly ahead of various IDF formations. So I want to close it out with this. I love these stories. This unit working very, very quietly. These guys don't operate from screens. They don't wait for orders. They don't clear buildings with software. Everything's become very technical these days. They move ahead of the formation. Still human manpower before the drones, before the intel, and before the risk is even understood. And these guys, these soldiers, walk into uncertainty on practically every mission. And they're reading the ground and they find what other units miss. And I can say that because of them, and again, I think these guys are fascinating, dozens of soldiers are still alive. Ambushes never happened. IEDs never went off. Parents didn't get the knock on the door. And the Wolves, these guys aren't out there asking for medals. They don't ask to be known. They just go in first so others can come home. And these are the Gaza Wolves, and that was their story. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. I'm going to come back to more of these as more of these types of unknown operations and units continue to surface. I think they're fascinating, and I think it's important to bring to you guys what you're not going to see in the media in Israel, certainly not here in the West. So I'm going to continue to come back to these as they continue to surface. And if there's any more stories about the Wolves that come out, I'm going to bring them to you, Cohen's Commandos. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. And as always, my new Project Gideon, the first ever AI-powered threat detection early warning system for law enforcement, is underway and getting built. But I need your help. You can donate to the project so we can get law enforcement the tools they need to be able to get to these threats before they pop off, like we just saw in Colorado and we just saw in D.C. 76% of lone wolf domestic terrorists leave some type of footprint, digital footprint, online, some type of manifesto. The D.C. shooter, 900-page manifesto. This recent attacker in Colorado, this illegal, multiple anti-Israel pro-terror groups he was jumping from, idolizing them. Hit the link down in the description and join my Gideon sponsorship team so we can continue to put engineers together, continue building out this MVP, and it creates more runway for us until we get our seed money. Appreciate you guys. Link down below. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching the Aaron Cohen Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one.